I mean, you're a veteran at this anyway. You're a fellow podcaster anyway. So Rodney, I'm going to take you out. Jorge, I'm going to take you out. Camille, I'm going to take you out. Juan Ruiz, I'm going to take you out. Chicos, I'm just going to look for the link. The link should be on my wall very soon. Okay, so if you have a look on my wall right now, you should be able to see the link. Okay, let me have a look, and you'll be able to share that with your peeps. I don't think any of Rodney's peeps are going to be awake right now. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Let me see. Where is the link? Sorry, guys. This is always the most difficult part, is to find the link. I think Juan Ruiz has found it before I have. Okay, here it is. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to, just bear with me as I share it with. Okay, so this is Sin Filtro episode 141. Crazy, man, crazy. Wow, we actually have people on here already. That's nice. Very nice. Welcome, guys. We are going to be getting ready in 3 minutes, and we're going to start. We're going to bring out the legends, the pioneros of bachata. These are some of the people that really have paved the way for what we are doing and what bachata is right now. Not a lot of people nowadays understand that and can appreciate that, but these guys really did put in the work and put that foundation that we're all walking on. So it's a beautiful thing to have them all on here today. Still very, very close. I don't know why. Okay, that's it. Lovely. So I've shared that. Let me just share another one to Bachata Addict. I'm going to share that. I'm sure Pierre Henry will not mind me sharing that to Bachata Addict page. It would be nice to get Pierre Henry on here, actually. I know he has a lot to say. Okay, I just need to check my sound is perfect. We're going to start, guys. As always on Sin Filtro, remember, you are welcome to ask questions. As long as those questions are respectful, it'll be brilliant. The guests are, they're all veterans in this game, and so they're, how can I put it, more than equipped to answer any of the questions that you guys are going to be throwing at them today. But yes, welcome to Sin Filtro. Show these guys some love. There's 5 people already just jumped on here. Lovely. We are going to start in approximately 1 minute. 1 more minute. So guys, smash a like, share this with your peeps. I don't normally ask the audience to share this with the peeps, but this is definitely one of the special episodes that we have. We have people that were there right from the beginning, when there was no bachata, when there was only like bachata like once getting played like once an hour or something like that. And so these guys really did push the boundaries and create the scene that we are all enjoying right now. Pierre Henry's in the building. Wow, Jesus. Pierre. Yeah, I think at some point we're gonna have to get Pierre on here and get him involved in this discussion. It will be quite interesting. Okay, I think we can start right now. Okay, all right. So guys, this is episode 141 Sin Filtro with the Pioneros of Bachata Volume 2. Let's go. Okay, guys, we are live. That was terrible. I missed it there. I missed my intro. Let's do that again. All right. Okay, guys, we are live. Welcome to Sin Filtro. Bienvenidos, bienvenue, willkommen, bienvenutos. We're back, guys. Last time we had a UK New Generation edition. John and Anna. We had Kat and Eddie. And we had Santi and Sasha in the building talking about the UK problems, the new generation problems, salsa in the UK. But tonight, Rodchata is back, the troublemaker, causing trouble with his posts. We're going to be talking about some of these posts. Juan Ruiz is back in the building. One of the pioneers of Bachata Moderna, probably the guy who first coined the phrase Bachata Moderna. And guys, for their Sin Filtro debuts, Camille Tango Legs is in the building. And of course, the one and only Jorge Elizondo is in the building for his Sin Filtro debut. Guys, we're talking legendary status in here. I'm really excited to have these guys. I'm nervous because I don't know what's going to be said. I don't know how it's going to go down. But we're going to talk about as much as we can talk about in the limited time that we have. But one thing that we are going to be discussing is Bachata Moderna tonight. Juan Ruiz was talking about the holy trinity of Bachata, and a lot of people were like, God damn, I love that analogy. Some people said, hey, you know, you have to question this analogy. So I said, okay, we're going to talk to him again. So we brought him back. We're also going to talk to, you know, Jorge and Camille about, you know, what it was like at the beginning, the early days of Bachata, like when they were building this scene. Do people still appreciate the legends? Who do the legends think are also legends? Who do they think are like, who would they kind of tip their hat to and say, yeah, that guy gets a pass. He's now, or that girl gets a pass. She's legendary status, or he's legendary status. It's, guys, I don't know. I don't know what these guys are going to say, especially when you have Rodchata in the building. You do not know what the hell is going to happen on Sin Filtro. Okay, guys. I'm just going to bring them all out, you know, because this is going to be so exciting. So, guys, welcoming all four of these legends into the building in Sin Filtro. This is a massive honor for me. Welcoming Rodchata, Juan Ruiz, Camille, Tango Legs in the building, and Jorge Elizondo in the building. What's up, sir? Wow. I feel like I feel like the court jester just sitting at the table with the kings right now. This is an incredible feeling. How are you all? Welcome to Sin Filtro.
First of all, Maury.
We better speak before Rodney starts.
No.
You don't understand. It's 6 a.m. here, man.
And you know what? We're gonna give you. Thank you for making the time. Like for really making the time. And he actually said, for those who are watching, Rodney actually said because he didn't want to disturb any of his guests that are staying at his house, he actually wanted to put himself in the car so that he can speak and shout as freely as he wants at us all.
Now you're gonna have to come to my Vegas event, man.
I'm 100% gonna be there, sir. 100%, 110%.
I feature in advertising there, Jorge. I know you have a background there, dude, but I just inserted there right there.
Jorge. So let me just go
Motivation,
down
man. I
first.
gotta work.
First of all, as well, welcome back, Juan Ruiz. How are you, sir? What time is it out there in Australia?
I'm doing good. 11 p.m. on a Sunday night. I should be resting right now and getting ready for the week. It's
Oh,
okay.
gosh.
It's not as bad as 6 a.m. though.
Okay, yeah. It's not. No, nothing's just bad. Even I wasn't going to get up at 6 a.m. So
Yeah.
thank you both for making the time. I'm going to go over to Camille Tango Legs. Welcome to Sin Filtro for your first your first ever. Hopefully, you're not your last. Welcome.
I really wish I would have watched the other ones just to have an idea, but
Oh no,
after intro,
we
I'm
probably
already
wouldn't
sweating.
have had you if we'd. You'd have probably gone. No, I'm not going on that show.
Well, I hung out with all these crazies, so I think it can't be that bad.
Oh, you'll be all right. And Jorge Elizondo, welcome to Sin Filtro, sir.
Thank you, guys. I'm welcome. I made this panel because I feel really comfortable with this group, and we have a lot of history. So let's talk about what happened in the past and where we're going.
Yeah, this is going to be important. Yeah. I think we're gonna really get into this. So, just before we start, Pierre Henry's in the building. He's just showing you guys some love, saying morning, everyone. Sunruta, we've had her and Bavin on here. He said, "Hey, long time no see." She's showing some love. Definitely representing Bachata Tradicional. So that's going to be quite interesting. Their comments are always really on point. Stefan Lunasul says, yes, Juan Ruiz, Tropical Soul. Well, he's actually going to change the name to Holy Trinity.
Bachata Trinity.
Bachata Trinity. Wow. Tony Bachata Lara is in the building. Wow. This is incredible. Elise, Danielle, Michelle is showing you all some love. So, okay. How is because we spoke to Juan Ruiz last time. Rodney, what's the situation out there in terms of dancing? What's the landscape looking like? When are we going to get back to dancing in your area?
We're back. We're 100% now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. If you're not vaccinated, you can wear a mask and still get in.
Okay. All right. That's wow. Maybe I will be coming to your festival.
That's not until next year, dude. But
you
can come to Hawaii.
yeah, we can do it. We can do it. Camille, Tango Legs, what's the situation in Switzerland at the moment?
Yeah, we're trying to keep it neutral, I guess. Everyone's reading in between the lines, trying to figure out what is actually true and what's not. So there's some outdoor events, but we're not sure if they're legal. You don't have to wear a mask, but you have to show your vaccination card or a QRV card or your test. So we're hoping in the end of July, something will happen. I know there's some underground stuff, but I guess I'm not allowed to talk about that.
No, nothing that's going to get me taken off the air. Thank you very much. Tango Legs. Jorge Elizondo, how's the situation in your state?
Texas is a little nuts. They've been dancing since last September, and that's why you see I have a festival. They're ready to go. They're ready. Texas is ready, and California and everyone else is opening up slowly, but Texas has been open for a while now, and so they're ready. Our people here.
Oh gosh, Tony has already started the trolling tonight. He says, "Ask Rodney what is real bachata." Stop it. We'll get back to that. We'll get to that. Greeting. Charlene says greetings from Singapore. Hey,
Charlene.
Okay. Okay. Let's start from a bit of history here, because sometimes what happens is that we have people that come on and then they skew the timelines. They'll say, yeah, and I've been doing this since this, and then I've been doing this since this, and then we just get, as people that came in later, we don't know what the real timeline is, and then now we've got people here that were there at the beginning. It'll be nice to get the timelines, to say, okay, because even me. I mean, I didn't know Nestor. I always thought Nestor was one of the first guys, and he was like, no, I took my classes from Juan Ruiz. You know what I mean? And so, do you see what I mean? It's going to be nice to know. Okay, so in terms of when the bachata moderna movement, who would you say was the first? Who were the first people? And then if we can layer onto that. I'm going to start with Jorge Elizondo because I always hear your name as one of the first people, and obviously Tony Lara as well.
I started in 2006, and were there people teaching bachata? Yes. Were there people out there teaching people, regular dancers? Yes. But I think I was one of the first to make it a profession and take it seriously, and probably one of the first outside of Europe to do 8-hour boot camps for bachata. And I took it to the next level. I was teaching people you could actually do a lot with bachata. Juan coined moderna. Actually, Camille helped me use the word fusion, because before I used to just do bachata rueda, and I was teaching bachata rueda, and that's what I was using to entice the salseros to come into bachata. But then Camille, when I met her in San Diego, she used the word fusion, and I was like, I love this word. So I ended up putting that next to bachata, and that gave us freedom to do whatever we wanted now, because we didn't know what they were doing in DR. I didn't know what they were doing in DR. We were coming up with our own version of bachata, and the fusion came in perfectly. And that's when we started taking it all over the place. And Tony was out there. I know there was Inaki, there was Juan Santos, Frank Santos. And then along the journey, that's where I found Rodney, and I found a lot of other bachateros in the U.S. that were teaching bachata, but they were more focused more in their area. And I was like, Tony and me were probably the first ones that really going out there straight bachata, just trying to get people to convert. And Juan Ruiz, we bumped into each other in 2008, I think. 2008, Juan invited me to Sydney, and we started touring around Australia, right? That was the first Australian tour for bachata. We took it outside of Sydney.
Was it 2008 or before? I can't remember. I have it on my notes, actually.
2000.
He has notes.
I mean, we're going back in time.
2008 was the first Sydney Bachata Festival.
Yeah, 2008 was the first Sydney Bachata Festival. So that was in April. So that's what I think it was before.
2007. No, we were the first ones. We went to Melbourne and Adelaide and Brisbane. We took bachata before. No one had ever seen bachata tour before. So 2007 maybe. Yeah.
I have to look at the years. Yeah.
So, Camille, what was it like being like bachatera when it was just pure salsa at the time? What was that like?
For me, I didn't even know that was a phrase until I really met Jorge Elizondo. And then there's all these era. You can just add it to anything.
Yeah, you pretty
and
much can.
I became the queen of era. Just put the name in front of it. For us, San Diego was a special place because nothing was really pure. And so when Jorge Elizondo came in, it was like, oh, okay, he's actually teaching bachata. And we were just, of course, teaching like everybody else, just putting our salsa to bachata basic. And it just opened up a whole nother world. And then coming in to meet Rodney and then Juan and then touring the first time with Jorge. For me, it just gave me a whole nother appreciation for the music and the dance and actually becoming a bachatera. He did convert me from salsera to bachatera. And so that was like, it's a big stepping stone there.
Okay. Rodchata?
What?
How are you? No, I'm joking. Okay, so Rodchata, when did you convert? Because I know that you had a salsa background as well. I mean, I remember first meeting you. You had as many salsa DVDs as bachata DVDs. You were a mixed bag of tricks.
I didn't. before Bachata, I did salsagang.com. It was a community of salseros, and that is all over California. That's how I gotten to know everyone. People come to my website. That was like the first Facebook in the dance world. Then, and so we would chat. It was more of like a forum type of site, and so we would go to certain club or Albert Torres' Congress. I converted with bachata when one of my member of salsagang.com was dancing it at a club called Rocopulco in San Francisco. And I said, what the hell are you doing? Like, it's called bachata. Where you learning that from? And this was from the Bay Area. I was like, Armando Tam. I was like, Armando Tam, he's Asian? And you're learning something? It's like, no, he's Nicaraguan. I was like, wow. And what is this bachata? And so that's how I learned bachata on the dance floor in that club. That's how I've gotten to know also that Armando Tam was the very first guy to ever teach bachata in the Bay Area. And then I converted after that. I didn't start my tour until 2008, but I started dancing bachata in the early 1990s. I started teaching it around 1995, I believe. But I didn't start the tour until 2008, which was the first one is in Sydney.
So it seems like 2008 really was the kind of, it was almost like the big bang of bachata.
I think so.
Could we all agree on that? Because then I can always take that moving forward because I've got the pioneers that have given me the nod.
Yeah, 2008.
Okay, is that okay? Well, could we say that 2008 was really the big bang of bachata? Okay.
I think so. 2007 is when I had the doors open for me to go international, and I think 2008 was a build from 2006, 2007. It took a lot of building. It didn't happen overnight. And luckily Juan, came up with the idea of the festival, and that inspired Rodney. And since that was this is the trio here. We all came together and it's a building process, and we all kind of fed off of each other. And I was more of a one-to-one city trying to plant seeds everywhere. Rodney was more of let's get people together and let's celebrate bachata. And Juan was over here pioneering festivals over here in Australia. And we also had someone in Sweden who was trying to do a festival too, but I think Juan beat him to the punch. And I don't know if you know, Biscuit, but I took bachata to Sweden. I was teaching 2007, and I took bachata to Gothenburg. I was the first one in Gothenburg with over 100-some students. And that guy, he was a Microsoft coder. He wasn't even a dancer.
Was that Peter and Christine?
His name is Peter.
Yeah, Peter and Christine. Yeah.
I started them. They got married because of me. They took my boot camp.
And they haven't paid you yet.
Oh, no.
Shout out to the okay. Before we continue, I am getting Tony Lara's popping off in the comments here.
What
says,
now, Tony?
What is? Oh no, we've already done that one. Revisionist history, yes. Tony says it was 2007. Sorry, Jorge, I did a tour the year before. Okay.
I took a shit before Tony. It's all good.
Tony did his first
it's a work between all of us. Tony was working Europe. I was working US. Yes. Juan was working Australia. This wouldn't have become a global thing if all of us weren't doing our part. Well, we all did something, and it came together in 2008. And then Juan started kicking off everything in 2009. Everyone started making festivals. So
thank you for clearing that up for us. This is already feeling like a history. No, but it's good to get this the real people, because if I just ask one person individually, then we go here, then we go here, then we get all this all this miseducation. Now we know, at least we know that the first significant big bang of bachata was in 2008. Thank you very much for and Tony has confirmed what you're saying. He says it took a global effort, and thank you guys for all doing that for real, because I tell you what, I wouldn't be dancing salsa still to this day. You guys saved my life.
Hey, Maury, I remember you with Julian just carrying camera all over the place, dude.
Of course, man. I loved it. I was, that was passion. It's still, I mean, this is why I've migrated to this, because it's like, it's a passion to film and document things. And actually to have, like, I still have a really amazing dance with Camille and Tanya Alemana. It was a really, really good one. And that was at Bachateando with Greg and Nanda. Yeah. So, I've got some amazing footage still, like some historical footage that I still haven't released, but I enjoy documenting these things. So, yeah, it's great. That's why it's an honor to have all of you here. I'm going to get to a very, well, not very difficult one, but interesting one. Female pioneros. Las Pioneras, where are they? Why do we never hear about them? Why do we, why are we not hearing enough about them? It's almost kind of like, it was almost like Tony was always on his own. He had he had Claudia Sabor, and then when he was with Danny, and then it's just now he's with Tiffany. But there's always been these things where it's like these guys have kind of like lone wolves, Juan Ruiz, Jorge Rodchata. It's always Rodchata. I've never heard Rodchata and like as a partnership, or Jorge Elizondo. And I mean, yes, you and Camille together, but it seems like Camille is one of the only people that gets recognized and given that credit as
Okay, so let me say something. I asked Camille here because, for real, she inspired me. She took me to the next level. I had 3 partners helping me, so I had numerous partners travel with me. But what's important to know is Tony and me and some of us that took this seriously. There was other people teaching bachata, like we spoke about, but they weren't taking it seriously. And I self-funded, and Camille knows this. I was paying for our trips, going all over Europe. I was going all over Asia. I was going everywhere around the world, and I self-funded everything. So there's bachata today because I figured out how to get points from the airlines and travel for free, book my hotels. I motivated promoters so they would book me. I think I gave one the same deal. I'll go to Australia, help me organize something. Let's go ahead and do our first bachata workshop. And we got people involved because I was making it easy. But because we had that, I brought Camille in, and she took it to the next level. And then you know what she did, and she's one of the pioneers people remember, is because when we had the first festival, she performed with all the guys that didn't have partners. Juan's one of them. I mean, she did like, how many shows did you do? 6 shows in Reno? She did like 6 shows. She learned them all in one day, and she performed them all on Saturday. Gosh. She's an impressive person. She knows how to learn choreographies. She even helped me try to make my first choreography. I'm a social dancer. She knows I'm not a performer. I focus on social dancing, but it was really hard because most of us in the industry were trying to make bachata grow, but there was no real money. And to have 2 people trying to live off of something, it was really hard. So maybe that's why it was hard not have that many females involved. But then we did have females come in, like Camille, which did an amazing job. Got Leslie, which started with LA Bachata. Her and Jorge took it to the next level. So that's another pioneer. You've heard of Leslie? Jorge and Leslie from Los Angeles?
No.
LA Bachata Festival?
Yeah. No, I haven't. My knowledge of like a lot of the American artists that never came to Europe is very limited. I'm just starting to learn about some of these guys now.
So right now, basically, I'm talking Moderna and Fusion. Now, like, all the Central, like, there's a lot of girl pioneers in the Central movement. But back in the day, it was still the beginning, and there wasn't that many. That's why it's hard, That's a really good question, right? Rodney, what's your opinion?
They're still around. Georgette for once.
Yes.
But she came in like 3 years later.
No. She was always there. Alemana also.
Would you say? I mean, don't get me wrong. I love George. I think Georgette is the goddess, and obviously I love Alemana as well. But were they around before before, like
I don't know, because
Camille
I
and
think
this?
that Tony Lara and Jorge would know more about that, as far as I know, because I was in my cave here in California doing my thing. So and social media was not really that popular at that time yet. So, but they've been traveling. You know, Tony and Jorge have been traveling all over the place. So they probably know. All I remember is Nanda was there, Nanda Castillo.
Nanda.
Yes.
You
Juan's
got
partner Samantha, right? Sam?
yeah, and Sam with Juan. Yeah, Nestor and Katrina. No, actually Nestor and what's her name? The Russian girl?
And Lydia.
Lydia.
Nestor and Lydia.
Yeah.
That didn't help bolster your argument there, Rodney. He's like, what's her name?
She's gonna kill me, but
yeah, she will.
yeah.
Lydia, we're gonna send you this snippet.
We're going back 15 years, a lot of history.
Yeah, okay, yes, but we never forget the male pioneers. We always remember Jorge Elizondo. We always remember Juan Ruiz. We always remember Tony Bachata, Lara. We always remember Rodchata. You know what I mean? It's just like we only Camille gets mentioned.
You know what? Camille went from Europe and transitioned to Europe, so she put a lot of extra effort in there too. You know, to even on her own, she started pushing herself, and that was hard. That was really hard. You did a great job, Camille.
Okay.
Thanks.
Before we go to Camille, could we just go to Juan, because I'd like to give you the last word on this, Camille.
Yes. Oh, the same question.
Yeah. Why ever? Because here's the thing: is that after doing 140 some interviews, whenever we have had women come on here, they say that they don't feel that they get the recognition sometimes that they deserve. And then when I think back and I think about, okay, Pioneer Edition, Pioneros, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, we can only really think of like very few.
So I always give credit to the grandparents of bachata dancing, to Tony and Jorge, because I think they were traveling, they were making a career, like Jorge say, full time, more because before was salseros teaching bachata, but now these two guys were just bachateros making a living out of bachata. So they opened the door for all of us. So they get the grandparent. You know, they're the grandparents of all of us. And then you have the next generation, like I came after, like myself, I think Rodney and Nestor and a few more that were making a movement globally. There were a lot of other instructors locally, but it was hard to connect to them because we didn't have social media. So I'm sure there was a lot of women who were there as well and helping and everything. But for my memory, there were not many women making a movement globally at that time. And if they were, probably I didn't hear of. But after the boom of 2008, 2009, then when people started to take more notice in bachata, then we started to hear a lot of female instructors, just starting to come up. We watched beautiful. In my case, in Australia, I only heard about Georgette teaching bachata a few years later. I heard about Nanda, I think back in 2008 or 2009 as well, because they started to organize their festival as well. So it was like after this boom, it just opened the door for everybody to say, hey, there is a whole group of bachateras who are out there. Who are they? Let's get to know them. And for Camille, I get to know Camille when I went to Reno. And Ronnie told me that I had to perform with a girl who I don't know. And I had to prepare. And I was like, okay.
And then you saw her and you thought, yep, I'll perform with her. Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yes. Camille Tango Legs. What's your thoughts on all of this?
I think my identification with bachata, especially when Jorge came into the picture, my whole mindset changed. It was like I was known as salsera, and then I completely converted to bachatera. Like I tried to pull the identity of being a salsera and just being a bachatera, and I think that made the big impact on people recognizing more that I was in bachata, because I had always this stigma in between the fusion is that in tango, I was a salsa girl, in bachata, I was a tango girl. So no one really could identify what group I was with. But with Jorge, it was that big turning point because in Los Angeles, they have at the time had one of the biggest salsa festivals. And our team finally made it to the Saturday night show, which is like the biggest honor. And I had to choose between going with Jorge Elizondo to teach bachata or bringing my dance company to our biggest thing that we've been trying to earn for the last 8 years. And when I made that cut, it made a big difference saying, now I'm really bachatera. And this is what I want to do and identify with it. And the fact that I came with my own name, I think that helped me a lot compared to being in the salsa world where if people said Michael, then they say Camille. But if they just said my name alone, people are like, huh? So that helped me to create my own identity and then branch out to have all of the people that are here now as a dance partner and performing and teaching, and along with some others like Joe Figueroa and others that are out there in the world.
Okay.
So,
and Maury, to answer the questions why some of them are not recognized or as popular, they stop. Some of them stop. Some of them stop doing bachata activities. Of course, they're going to fade away, you know. But I mean, look at me, look at Tony, look at Jorge, look at Juan. We're still doing it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, this is going to lead on to my next question. Is this like, what's kept you driven to still keep doing this? I mean, even despite a pandemic which has crippled a lot of people in terms of their income and their their careers. I mean, what's kept you guys constantly, even now, persevering to do this? I want to start with Juan Ruiz.
I think this is our life right now. It will be hard not to do this. For myself, I've been doing it for such a long time. I don't see myself doing another thing. You know, I think I will continue evolving in the promotions and running my school in my bachata, but you're probably you're gonna see me, 60-year-old man, and I want to be one of those old men that people show videos of me dancing bachata, you know, being the motivation for the older youths. So yeah, it has been the community changes and evolve. Yeah. But I just accept it. It has to change. It has to evolve, and I love it every time it goes a new direction because it makes me change as well. It makes me update how I run my events, how I run my school, and how I dance as well. Because I cannot just dance as I used to do it 20 years ago. So for me, it motivates me everything, and I think we're going to continue doing this for a long, long time.
Okay. What about yourself, Jorge? Jorge Elizondo, what keeps you still in the game?
Life changes you as you go, and I've transitioned little by little. You know, the person I was when I first started is not who I am now. So now I feel like I'm more of a mentor, and I've always loved organizing. And I didn't know I liked organizing until Rodney put me in the situation to join him with the first Bachata festival, and I figured out that's another passion of mine. And for me, it's a wonderful thing, bringing people together and giving people opportunity, and that's what Dallas does. It's my opportunity to bring all my friends, which become a big family now in Dallas. We're 13 years in, and you know, pandemic hit, and we weren't able to have a festival, and I was really happy to, for the first time ever, actually do something where I was able to get many people I've met around the world to actually do an event. We did a free online event in October last year. Juan Ruiz performed 3 times with he was one of the few teams out there in the whole world who was still practicing and learning routines. And that was really awesome. So I was able to get people I haven't been able to bring to the US. And that actually inspired me even more, because that was the first time I get a closer vision of what I've always wanted to do. Is everyone I've met, because there's so many instructors that I know that many people in the US don't know, or or a lot of Asian and Americans that the Europeans don't know. But that's really hard to bring everyone to everyone. So this was the first time I was able to make it for free, and I gave everyone an opportunity to meet other instructors, and that what kind of keeps me going is just bringing people together.
Wow, thank you very much, sir. Camille, yourself.
Yeah, for me, I think I've kind of faded away because living here in Switzerland, I tried to bring up the scene when I first got here, and I had to present myself, going in. I just jumped into a festival and I said, hey, I want to teach here. And he's like, who are you? I'm like, here's my DVDs. He's like, it's never going to work. And I'm like, it will. And he's like, oh, your class was the most full of this festival. I had to dance on the table because it was so full. I almost fell off this table.
I told you.
Yeah, like, and he's like, you need a teacher at my studio immediately. And I was like, yes, but I'm an independent teacher. And he was like, oh. And yeah, I grew and bachata became very popular and stuff here. But then as I had my dance team here and started introducing it more, it just kind of faded out and it, I don't know, lost its touch and also its energy because people got too much attached to all these other dances, and not having a partner, like a proper partner to perform with, I think that really hurt the scene for me to like be able to showcase some shows because I really love to perform, obviously. And I just lost the motivation to get people out there. And they weren't creating the bachata rooms. They weren't like, they said, yeah, we can do it, but they weren't willing to do it. And it has to go in that perspective between man and woman. Also, is that the image of a woman being older dancing bachata doesn't have as much appeal as, Juan Ruiz when he's 70 dancing bachata. I can't be sitting there in my booty shorts or my leotard at that age. I don't want to.
If anyone can do it, tango legs, it will be you.
Yeah. So I think.
But yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. So for me, it was like, it has always been a sexy dance. I always like to dress sexy, these things, and just not coming of age, but just like, I don't know, it just seemed like it wasn't something for my age to go out there and be the same person I was, 10 years ago. And it mellowed down so much here in Switzerland that it just kind of lost its buzz. And all the people that I trained became, the bachata teachers and the DJs. So I just let them roll with it.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Okay, I'm going to come to that point in a second. Let me just go to Rodney. Rodney, the first time you came on here, you even said you got to a point where you lost over almost $50,000 from a festival once. That's legitimately, that's a deposit on a place, like in some places, what keeps you in this game now in 2021, still grinding, still with the hunger of a young lion? What keeps you here still?
I think it's for the love of the dance. That's the only logic you could say, because that's the only way I could say it. Because if I'm really being honest, I have no freaking idea why I'm still doing it. I'm not touring anymore. I don't perform anymore. I don't compete anymore because, as you can see, I'm an old man. I got some injuries already, but I still love, just like Jorge is saying, I just love to be a coach. I just love to be a teacher. I still have my dance team that I teach in a small way. Yeah, it's pretty much it. And then promotion, it's great. It's always, I love the promotion part because you create and you innovate things to the bachateros, to the dancers. I love it because you get to offer new things. It's not just the same thing like last year. So now we're on 2021 after the pandemic. We were in a long vacation that we have all of these ideas that we wrote down. That gets me to Tony and I. We were sitting down in Zoom and discussing things that we can do, new things. And it's an exciting thing. That's why we're doing Vegas next year. So.
Okay. So I mean, we just got, here's one of our, that's only in the sensual world. On the island, your age is still young, and we love you for your dancing, not what you're wearing. Wow, that's come from El Alex. El Alex is a bit of he's like a pseudo troll sometimes. We've actually had him
No,
on
he's Alex is. He said I met him in Toronto when I was there the very first time I taught, but I don't remember. I think he's a fellow Cancerian. I think I've said some things to him before that he was sensitive about, but he is a guy who loves traditional bachata. That's
he
for
really
sure.
does. I mean, you know, we had him on the show, and we had a really good dialogue with him and Pierre Henry. So, I mean, one of the things that I would like to kind of bring up is because he's mentioned this when he was on the show, and
Do you have the charger?
And I think Juan Ruiz is back.
Back
he's
now.
to the bottom of the thing. I'm going to go to one of Rodchata's posts, because Rodchata did make some posts that have been catching a little bit of heat on Facebook. But this is actually something that El Alex was talking about when he was on here. So I'm going to read the post, and then you guys are going to, you guys can tell me what your thoughts are on this. So Rodchata's post, so that I'm not paraphrasing, he says, settling an old issue, one bachata room or several, i.e. sensual and traditional. Which do you prefer and why? Explain and express. Hashtag Bachata Festival. So we're talking about in the scope of a festival here. I'm going to start with Camille. I'm going to end with Jorge Elizondo, because these are festival questions now, and no one can not see that Dallas Bachata Fusion Festival banner behind him. So Camille, one room or several rooms? We're talking bachata.
Yeah. I would say I'm going to go with several rooms, because I think it just keeps the energy. Like if you're doing traditional and you're doing moderna and you have fusion and stuff, I think for me, the most important thing is the community and the balance on the dance floor. So if people have this high energy and the traditional is trying to dance to moderna and all this stuff, it just doesn't have the same energy. And if you want to leave the room, you can. And then you don't have to complain about the DJ, It makes it a lot easier for everyone that's working in the situation. And yeah, that's the main point. And then I like to skip around anyway. So if I want to hear something right away, then I just jump over to the room. I think it's great.
Rodchata. Actually, no. Actually, I should come to Rodchata. No, I should have started with Rodchata, actually, because this was your whole your whole creation. So Rodchata, one room or several rooms?
That's a good question, because I'm going to get in trouble.
It depends what you can afford.
But Camille is right. The bottom line is, I'm speaking as a promoter. Every room costs money. If you host a 2 bachata rooms there, let's say, this one is moderna and the other one is traditional, dude, that costs money, and you better be damn sure that the other room is full, because if the other room is not full, that's not going to happen next year, because you just lost money right there as a promoter. Now, as a dancer, although I prefer traditional, you guys know me. I'm very outspoken about bachata being traditional. Everybody knows that. Everybody in the traditional community knows that also. But we're talking social dancing here. I hate the very fact that I can only dance one style in one room. I don't like that. I like to be able to dance every style on the same room. But the issue here, the reason I posted that on Facebook, is because we have a problem with balancing the music. That's really it. If you want to have one room, you have to balance the music. Now, DJs claim they do. They do not balance the music. When they say, oh, 50% that's 50. It's not 50%. You guys play 70, 80% sensual or modern or something. So you can only understand why this traditional people are pissed off. They're really pissed off, by the way. You could tell by their posts on my Facebook. They have some bitterness there because you got to blame this on the DJ. It's the DJ that plays the music. So now when people ask me when I organize festival, hey, are we going to have 2 rooms? And sometimes I was like, no, I'm only going to have 1 room of bachata. Well, who's going to be the DJ? That's the question. Who are the DJs? Okay, and so during the festival, you hire the DJs, right? You want to make sure you hire several DJs that are multidimensional, right? I was like, hey, when is so-and-so going to play? What? He's playing at 4 a.m.? I'm slept by then. I'm already sleeping by then. So you see the problem there when we have 1 room, but the DJs are stubborn on balancing their music. That's the thing. Now, I can understand traditional, they want to play, they want to dance it all night. I can understand sensual, they want to body roll. I shouldn't say body roll because that's like chip shot. I shouldn't say because I respect sensual. But they want to do sensual all the time or modern or certain music. I can understand that. Now, if the promoter has money to have several rooms, by all means, do it. But I love the idea of our attendees dancing everything and learning during the day and dancing what they learn, all kinds of styles during the night. That's my argument. It's a social dancing. Are you a social dancer? Are you a dancer? Then you should be able to dance every style.
Well, I don't know, because I mean, when I go back to watching the Adam Taub video of watching the Dominicans dancing to Darte un Beso on the island, the message that came across there was, guys, don't worry about learning any other style. If you do traditional and there's a new music, don't change your steps. Just keep doing the same. That was the message of that video. That was coming from people like Rodolfo and Adam Taub. It's like, so for them, they don't mind. They're just like, hey, we'll dance the same to whatever, whether it's Romeo, whether it's Zacharias. It doesn't matter what it is. So that kind of goes contrary to what you're saying, that they don't want to learn either. They just want to stay in their lane.
Well, there are 2 kinds of people in the festival. The people who likes to learn everything, who wants to dance everything, and the people who doesn't want to dance everything else. You could do that in Kizomba. You could put Kizomba as an example. You could put traditional bachata as an example. I could bet you that most sensual dancers knows how to dance traditional. But not many traditionalists knows how to dance other styles. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. It's just that they prefer that. But all I'm saying is that Moderna and sensual students and teachers came from dancing everything, and so therefore they don't mind dancing everything. I've danced with Alimana dancing traditional. You've seen Desiree dancing traditional. It's not a problem. In fact, they're great at it. So it's just a matter of preference.
Let me go to Juan Ruiz.
1 or 2 rooms?
Yes, basically.
Yes. I'm paying attention now.
Or maybe even 3 rooms.
Yeah, well, it just depends. One of the things that I agree with what Camille says and what Ronnie says, it depends a lot on the essence of the event, right? If you're going to have a Latin dancing event, you're going to have a salsa room, a bachata room, well, just have 1 bachata room, play all the styles there. But if you're going to have just a bachata festival, and then you're going to, and bachata now we know that has evolved so much, I'm definitely up for having 2 rooms or even more rooms if you can. Because every DJ is going to play something unique to it. And then the other thing is that we will love for all bachateras and bachateras to get along and dance together. They are very 2 separate movements, the traditionalist and the sensualist, to put it that way. Yeah. It's like it's the same thing happening in salsa. We cannot put Cuban salsa and linear salsa in the same room. They love salsa, but then they're going to fight
They hate each other.
They hate each other, but we have to respect them. And now we have come in salsa. We have come to a place that we respect both lineages. Both of them are fine, and we let them coexist. Something similar is happening with bachata, with the Dominican and traditionalists and the sensual and moderna ones. We have to respect each other. We have to respect that. For me, there's gonna be people that some bachateros in sensual that don't want to learn Dominican or traditional, and that's absolutely fine because there is so much depth right now in that area for them. And same goes for the traditionalists. There's so much depth. There's so much knowledge that you will never stop learning to become really good at that particular style. Yeah. So yeah, having different rooms works for the festival. One thing that I did recently in my studio, Tropical Soul, I had a only bachata party, but then I have 2 rooms. So one of them was playing the moderna and remixes. The other one was playing traditional and more like more history. And the 2 rooms are functioning well, but then at one point I had to join the rooms because I didn't just want to have like a dead room happening. So what I did with the DJs, I had 2 DJs running at the same time. So one of the moderna DJs was playing 2 songs, and then the traditional DJ was playing 2 songs. So then they were overlapping the 2 songs, and that way we were able to have everybody happy. If somebody was complaining the music of this DJ, we're like, well, 2 songs, then the other DJ is gonna play, and then the other DJ 2 songs, and then the other DJ was play. So that worked to keep the energy balance and for people not to complain about a DJ,
But the traditional songs are long, Juan. They're not the same length as the
Yeah. Hey guys, hold on though.
2 traditional songs.
Hold on, we have to.
Like 4. It's like 4. Remixes.
Hey, Maury, hold on.
Yes.
The term traditional music versus modern or sensual music, because there's a difference now, as they say, right? If you're gonna make a traditional room, then make it traditional. What the hell is a traditional bachata? Are you talking about Romeo and Nico Rodriguez in his album singing? Is that traditional? The album Utopia, is that traditional or is that modern? See, that's the confusion right there. We say, okay, we're gonna have a central room. Are you all gonna have remix song?
No, I mean a central room would be like modern bachata with remixes in it, I would say now. But here's the difference. Here's the difference. Even though modern bachata is bachata, a lot of the people that are hardcore about traditional, they don't accept that as bachata. They want to hear Frank Reyes and all this. They don't want to hear JR and Picasso.
But Frank Reyes is considered moderna bachata.
For the musicians, though. But that's the thing. Sorry to interrupt. For the musicians, he's known as the moderna bachata because
we're talking about dances. We're talking about studio dance, the studio dance world. Because we could go into that whole realm, and then we will get educated in a whole different way.
Yeah.
Let me just quickly go to. Sorry. Just before we cut you, I just want to know what Jorge Elizondo. What is Dallas Bachata Fusion Festival gonna have? Is it gonna have 1 room, or is it gonna have mixture of rooms?
My festival is about making everyone happy, and why do I do that? Because I toured the world for 15 years, and I know when I was not happy, and when I was not happy is when it was a mixed room. You have salsa and bachata together, and I'm waiting for my 2 bachatas after 7 salsas. The worst. I'll tell you the worst experience. I was the first Russian bachata festival in St. Petersburg, and believe it or not, it was 9 Cuban salsas to 1 bachata. So I danced 4 times that whole party, and I was the bachata festival. It was the St. Petersburg first Russian bachata festival, and I danced 4 songs on Friday and maybe 3 songs on Saturday, and the girl's like, I want to dance with him. I don't do Cuban salsa. Well, I do, but not like the way they do it, you know? So my festival is all about what makes me happy. What did I learn when I traveled? What did I not like? So I have a central room and I have a traditional room. And if I could have my ultimate festival, it would be a remix room. It would be a modern room, which would be Prince Royce, all the stuff extreme, from extreme all the way to Romeo, because that's the music I like. I personally don't like remix, but I know that's where the industry is going. So we're giving what the industry wants, what the people want. And then you have traditional, and I know we're having a discussion of what's traditional. More than likely, anything that fits with when you hear the traditional 3 guitars in there, that's traditional. Even though it's new traditional, that's what traditional people want to hear, is more guitar versus more electronic. If it's electronic, well, that's modern. If it's fake, it's a remix, you know? So, so for me, I have 5 rooms. I give people a Zouk room.
If it's fake, it's a remix?
Room. Huh?
Did you say if it's fake, it's a remix?
Well, it's a fake bachata. It's
okay.
You know,
I think you just have to rename the rooms, like Jorge Elizondo, Rodchata, Juan Ruiz. And people know exactly what to expect.
Problem solved. Yes.
So Jorge, you said you had 5 rooms. I heard Kizomba, I heard a remix room. Which other the 3?
No, I have the central room. It's called the central room. So that's gonna have your modern and your central bachata. You have your traditional bachata, which even in there I might throw merengue or cumbia, because we have people that love that music. And then we have a salsa room, and we have a kizomba room, and I try to do a Zouk room in there as well to give, because my workshops, I give classes of everything, mostly bachata, but then I have like 30-40 hours of other things in there. And I want people to learn everything, because the reason I'm good at bachata is because I really worked on my salsa. My salsa technique is what I use to learn my bachata, and I think it's best for everyone to learn more than just learn one thing. And I've noticed the level of dancing, you know, people learn one thing, they're learning central, and they won't get out of it. They can't move their feet because they're learning a lot of movements that their feet are planted on the ground, and they're working on their upper body, but they don't know how to move their feet. So it's hard to get traditional music in a central room when a lot of these central dancers are not learning how to move their feet. And you're not going to have the same feeling doing body rolls to traditional music versus central music. So it becomes a conflict. And that could be a whole new conversation. We can spend hours on it. And I prefer not to think of it like that. It's like, what's going to make you happy? And that's what I'm going to give you. You got this room that should mean most of you. And even with that, I have to fight with the DJs, right? Because if the DJ is going to do 90% remix, it's like, hey, you know, I want more of a balance. And it comes down to the promoter himself. Like, I do things that make me happy, and I've learned whatever makes me happy makes majority of my people in Dallas happy. If I focus on the people, then I'm trying to please everyone. So I please myself. I take care of the artists how I wanted to be treated. My artists are very happy because I take care of them the way I have always wanted to be treated. I treat my attendees the way I wanted to be treated as an attendee. So the attendees are happy because I'm meeting everything that I felt was lacking at some festivals. And that way, focusing on the needs and sharing those needs with everyone else and giving them their wants, it makes people happy. And I think at the end of the day, just if you're happy, you're going to return. You're going to come back and dance more. If you're blocking it and people can't, I mean, if you're playing traditional and they want to do body rolls, central bachata, it just doesn't feel good. Then you have different levels of dancers. There's dancers you can play really fast bachata and they dance it slow. Play a slow bachata, they're still going to dance it fast. You know,
it's true.
Okay, I'm gonna focus because there's a lot of comment. There's so many comments, guys. I'm just gonna prioritize the questions. Pierre Henry says a lot of the good bachata remixes nowadays have proper guitars played by real guitarists. You know, Melvin Wall, we've had him on here. He's legitimately playing a lot of this stuff.
Oh yeah, but I'm talking about the remixes that you buy. You know, the 20 billion DJs now making bachata remixes. I'm not talking about the real artists. Melvin's been one of the pioneers of guitar. We got Sax Chata now. We got all sorts of stuff.
Really nice.
We do.
By the way, I DJ at Jorge's festival in the traditional room. I DJ along with Carlos Cinta, Ron Swarson, and we do play what we call traditional Ramon Torres, Marino Castellano, and we play all the way to Aventura because we consider that traditional or what we call classic songs.
Well, that's what Central people are considering traditional. I get really, I feel pain in my heart when I hear talking to the new dancers, and they're like, "Why are you playing old stuff?" I go, "That's Royce. What are you talking about, man? Like that's old. If it's not Usher or Beyonce or someone modern in pop in bachata, then that's old. Like it's like, what are you talking about? You know."
Okay, guys, let's switch gears. Social media. I want to go to social media. Do you think it's is it killing the bachata scene now in terms of like quality teachers? I mean, would there be a, you know, we spoke about this briefly, Juan Ruiz, when we last time you were on here, but would we have a Jorge Elizondo, a Juan Ruiz, a Rodchata, Camille, in this era, if you were starting out in this era with this whole social media thing and this, you know, this sexualization of bachata, or how do you think this would play out in terms of the social media for you guys?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I like to be around people, so I mean, the fact to have to be everything on social media, I think I probably wouldn't be dancing at all, because for me it's very impersonal, and there's a lot of, you know, when you're watching something, it's always your interpretation, whether or not you can have full contact with that teacher and they're answering the questions for you at that moment, and everything becomes misconstrued about like what you're really seeing. You know, if you're like tweaking your neck like this to watch moves and learn things, then you're gonna have a hurt neck, and then no, it's not for me.
I think social media helped me pioneer bachata. I was one of the first on YouTube. I don't know who remembers the video of the little dog running in the studio, but that was our friend from Vancouver. He had one. Me and him were one of the few out there that had YouTube. 2006, the first year YouTube came out, but that helped propel bachata. Even though there wasn't many people out there, those videos were the biggest help, you know. And because there wasn't any other way, we had what was it? Not Facebook, but the other one,
MySpace.
Yeah, we had MySpace, and the video quality was so bad. But YouTube, I think, was we don't talk about this much, but YouTube, I don't think if YouTube was around, I don't think I went to Brussels. I taught in Brussels in 2007, 1 year after I started, and that's because they saw my YouTube videos. And then in 2008, I went to Korea, and I went to Paris, and I was so blown away that I'm walking into this club, and people knew who I was. They're like, "This is you in the video. This is you in the video dancing bachata." Wow. And I was like, "Holy moly! This person in Korea that doesn't speak English is showing me. They're watching my video while they're trying to dance bachata in the Korean club." And I was like, "Wow, yeah, that's me." And then I show up in Paris, and someone in this little bar in the basement happens to be watching my video too, and spots me. And he's like, "Is that you?" And I go, "Yeah, that's me." And I always walked around with a Bachata Rueda logo. That was my thing, was Bachata Rueda before I met Camille. And then I switched to Bachata Fusion, which I thought was a better name because people didn't know it. There was nothing worse than people saying Bachata Ruda. Bachata Ruda. I gotta get out of that. But social media did play a big part in the beginning to get us where we are today. And now social media today is, I don't think I'll be able to survive if I started today. I don't think I would make it because you have to have the look. But for me, I got lucky because Camille would see when we taught people, I felt, and I hope she'll say the same, is that I think we were changing people's lives in 4 or 8 hours. In 8 hours, we were teaching them so much stuff and technique that when I left, I know that I left them dancing bachata. It wasn't a 30-minute class where I spoke about nothing. It was like I literally focused on them the whole time, and I planted a seed, and I moved on, and that's what got me from the one point to the next is the credibility and the effort I put into teaching people that moved me from city to city. But if it was based on looks and what you can put on a presentation, I never would have gone anywhere. And that's the truth. So I'm happy that all this happened pre-Instagram
kind of. So I mean, Rodchata, would you say the same thing, that the Instagram era now is kind of killing the art of actually teaching well, being and putting in that real grind?
I think it's great. I love social media. I've been doing social media before bachata.
We know.
I've been doing social media before bachata. I was into salsa and ballroom. So, and of course, it's what made me popular before teaching students here in the Bay Area as a international teacher because of social media. However, the Instagram thing, I think it's also great because as a promoter, I get to look at these people that claims they're teachers. I get to look at them, the way they dance, or maybe they could post a workshop during their teaching, blah, blah, blah. So it gives me a little idea whether I should hire them or not. It gives me a little idea also of the comments on their students or whether they like the dance and everything. It's up to you as a judge, as a promoter, or as a person who hire talents to look at those. I think it's a great thing because now all over the world, all kinds of dancers and teachers are able to post their talent, what they can do. And that's a great thing. And it gives a good boost for our industry as far as growing is concerned.
Okay. Juan Ruiz?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, like I spoke to you in the previous conversation, I'm up for the evolution. I don't think social media is killing the dancing. It's helping it grow to a new place that we don't know where is that yet. Like we were pioneers of our time with the technology that we had at that time. For me, the same YouTube played a big part for me to become popular. And like after us, after this generation that we are here, we have, for example, Corky and Judith. They're becoming pioneers in the sensual style, And there's going to be a few years from now, there's going to be another pioneer that's going to change something. But now they're using the technology at that time. And yeah, I'm like as a promoter, definitely, we'll look what they have in Instagram, and we discuss that in depth. That it's not only just one video, not just one hit wonder, but it's the whole work that they do around their profession. So it's helpful as a promoter first to know that what kind of job they do, if they're for real dancers or they're just a popular dancers. And then I look forward, for the new generation, for the new pioneers to show up, start doing things.
Okay, this is one of my questions that I was going to ask you, all of you. Who are the new pioneers? Who are the people that you now see that you can recognize? Because sometimes only real can recognize real. Who are the people that you recognize now and say, that couple there, or that guy or that girl there, that is somebody that I now recognize as somebody that's going to be one of the greats?
Oh boy,
great question.
I'm ready.
So that's a really good one.
I don't ask this question. I mean, I ask this question to them. Like, so for example, when we've had people like Pablo and Raquel here, or had Daddy Orizara here, or we've had Sergio Yana or Kike Nae, I've asked them, like, okay, who inspired you? Who, but I would like to know, like, who do you guys look at? I mean, for example, Kike Nae, I even sent Jorge the video. Kike actually said that in his top 5 ever contribution to bachata. He mentioned Jorge Elizondo in his, and he said, like, you know, I give this guy so much credit because this is the guy. He even said this. He said this guy was paying to be at events. You know, he you know, self-funded. He came and I took one of my first ever bachata classes from him. You know, this is he really did give it up to Jorge, and I sent Jorge the video, and you know, but I'm saying for you guys now, who do you guys look at and think that couple there? Yeah, they've got next.
I'll start.
I look at young ones now. I mean, I can't look up old ones because they obviously can't perform anymore, man. I mean, they're probably going to break their legs or something. But just kidding. But I look at like young ones, like
you think,
you know, Ace Fusion, bro. I look at Ace Fusion every time this kid dance Ace Fusion. I mean, for me, she inspires me. I mean, just her musicality, everything about Ace Fusion. Do I look up to her? No, she inspires me. That's the only person I can think of right now. There are many out there, I know that, but if I were to pick one, it's Ace Fusion.
It's Ace Fusion. Okay, you do know you messed up the pronouns for Ace.
I know. Forgive me, LGBTQ community. I'm still learning the terminology there.
Yeah,
sorry, but I love you guys.
Yes, Jessica now has just jumped in. Yes, we know. Jessica, for the love of bachata, we know. We're still, forgive us, we're still learning, we're still relearning, we're still rewiring.
Sorry.
Juan Ruiz, who do you look at and say,
yeah,
he, she, or they?
Yeah. So with social media we can access many artists and many things that come to us, but there are when it comes to turn patterns, I really like, I think it's Carlos Espinosa. I really like his flavor. I think
he represents Moderna for me.
Yeah. He likes to take my bachata fusion. He likes to use my bachata fusion as his term.
Wait,
We're the original bachata fusion right here, Tango Legs and me.
That's a good question there, Maury, because let me ask Camille, Juan, and Jorge. Don't you notice that sometimes whenever we watch these young dancers, it's like, what the fuck? That was my move.
That has to happen. That has to happen. So then we know we did a good job. You know? If they're not using our move, then they forget about what we did.
One of my favorite moves is a Juan Ruiz move. I love that move.
I've seen my moves being used by so many artists, by so many dancers.
Me too.
Sometimes I'm not like eye contact them nicely and say, like, I hope that you're calling this move this name. Just to keep a structure on the name. You know, but I'm not telling them, do not teach the move. You cannot do it. It's like, please just go ahead and do it,
Yeah, sure.
That's why it becomes more of a structure. On it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jorge,
hold on. I need to add two more though, because that was for some.
Two more. Sorry. Two more.
Yeah, but because of the pandemic, I had to start doing a lot more shines. I was teaching shines back in 2008, and it was crazy to teach shines. But now with the pandemic, everything had to be done online. You couldn't touch people, so we had to work in bachata shines, and it had to be a little bit more, not just Dominican, not just traditional, but that kind of just fusions everything,
Yes.
There is this guy in Mexico, Christian Bernabe, I believe. I ended up getting back to him a few times because I was liking the way that he was doing the shines on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then one artist that I like the way that she teaches and how she breaks the technique is from Singapore, Brenda Liu. I go back to her as well many times because I can see that her knowledge on the technique that she teaches on the body movement is spot on. So I would say out of those are the three people that I like for partner work, for shines, and technique.
Okay, let me go to Camille Tango Legs. Who do you look at and say, yep, that's whether it's a guy or a girl, that's a king, that's a queen that I think is going to do big things, is going to become
Well, I'm looking at them all right now. So until these all decide to leave Earth, they're paving the way. So I haven't seen anyone else.
I'm saying the new generation, Camille.
I know, but okay, I live in a very small country, and my world of bachata has been very small, because of the motivation of like not being able to dance bachata as much as I did before or at all. It's just been really hard to look on social media and find these people unless they've actually come here and like I've seen them and danced with them. So everything that I take is when I dance with the people. So even if I see it on social media, like for me, it's not inspirational until I go there, dance with the people, and see their personalities. And
I see. I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. Jorge Elizondo.
I'm going to take a little bit from everyone. Exactly what Camille said. Talent for me, social media is great, and I like watching what people are doing. All I can say is that I think bachata went from with us maybe 1.0, and then COVID 2.0, and now I think 3.0 is coming out because bachata looks nothing like it did before COVID. I think it evolved during COVID, people being innovative and making new stuff, and sometimes I'm watching it, I'm like, what is this new hand stuff? Like they just incorporated a whole new dance into bachata. Before there was no hand movements like this, and now I'm seeing it. But if I had to, I was going to mention one person that Juan already mentioned, and I think if there's anyone that's innovating and doing more than just performing, and actually, to me, you have to be giving back. If you're just a pretty video and I'm enjoying watching you, there's a big, important aspect to that, and that inspires people to get into the scene. But I've always been on the other end. What builds the scene once you're in the scene? And Brenda Liu, we're lucky to have her at the very beginning. My partner and I in Shanghai brought her out there when she was very young. Right, her first tour was in Shanghai with us. We took her all over China, and what we learned from her when she was so young is that everything she does, she can teach. And if there's ever a girl that wants to learn how to do the actual movements and actually know the techniques behind them, is her. And I was so happy to see her go from her private classes to giving out all this information. She literally did not hold back. And it was probably a concern of hers. I'm giving my techniques, and I go, and we spoke about it, and Brenda's like, those are my techniques, but how I teach it to you and how I give you my energy, that's who makes me who I am. And my techniques are out there to help everyone else. And I was really inspired by her because she's the kind of people that will continue pushing the scene better. Yeah, so that's really, really great. And like Camille said, for me, it's about meeting these people in person, for me to actually see them as inspiration. And for me, I've met so many dancers that many of you don't know because you know your community. You know Europe 100 times better than me. I haven't been to Europe in 2 or 3 years, so I don't know who's the rising star in Europe. But I've been going to Asia a lot, so I know a lot of the Asians rising stars. I'll tell you what happened in Asia during COVID. The Chinese community, though their local artists elevated themselves because there was no outside instructors. So the local community for the first time was looking amongst themselves for the inspiration. And it was awesome to see their own local instructors finally becoming important to their own community, which is really great. Yeah. Before it was only outside was important. If you're from the outside, we want to learn from you. And I guess that's where I'm at in all this. And if I have to name one other couple that inspires me, if I could move like them more, it would probably be Gio and Kim from Toronto. They're Dominican style, their footwork.
Yeah. We've had them on here as well. Yeah. Kimberly Ramos and Gio. Yeah.
I want to move. I want to move like him. I want to move like them. I don't do that.
Yeah, you're old, man. You can't move like Gio. You're old, bro.
Hey, but he inspires me to want to move like that, man.
And gonna break something.
Huh?
Gonna break something.
You're gonna break
and he's
something.
also someone that can teach people how to move like himself, which is great because a lot of people move great, but they can't have other people move like them because they don't know how to explain what they're doing. Yeah. And her and Jill, they just know how to break it down. I watch them teach. I go, that's so amazing. You break it so easy. And I'm looking at the students. They look like you. And Camille, she'll remember, I wouldn't move on unless all my students looked the same. It was always about teaching it and making sure no one left behind. And that was kind of what I always wanted. Everyone looked good. They understand it. We move forward. And that's what I'm looking for people that inspire me, that are pushing forward the whole community.
Hey, Maury, you should have been more specific. Now I gotta have to add, because now they're talking teachers, young teachers now, and I agree with Juan and Jorge. I was watching Brenda Lu's video on how she break down techniques. It's not that I'm inspired her. I'm proud of her, man, because it's the art of teaching, able to break down the techniques, the movement behind it, and not too many people in this young era do that now. It's all about watch me, now you do it type of thing. Yeah. And Brenda Lu, so proud of her. Not to mention she's Asian, so I love that they're
she's a sister, so he's like, yeah, let's go. Yeah, but okay, but I mean, all right. With the exception of Carlos Espinosa, everybody mentioned are people that we're kind of like, yes, we know who they are, but are they gonna become big stars that are gonna really, like influence? I get it. Yeah, Brenda Lu. Yeah, she's gonna be out there, but will she be traveling all over the world? And like a Jorge Elizondo, like a Rodchata, like a Juan Ruiz, like a Tony Lara, like a Camille.
Okay, but you gotta put something aside though. There's so much talent now that's really hard. And now anyone that has a million views, give me $5,000 and a plane ticket from Europe. This is not gonna happen as a promoter, How can we invest so much money when you're new and you have a lot of videos? That's what's stopping people from elevating, is because they're thinking, I'm at the Corked Judith, I'm the Daniel Desiree level, pay me this price, and I want to be up here with them. And that's kind of pushing everybody down, because the prices are so high, it's impossible for promoters to help elevate people. And it just, every organizer is different, but that's why you're trying to figure out who's going to be the next superstar. Well, in festivals is going to be one thing, Instagram is going to be a different thing. So it really has to, what specifically you're asking, like who's the best one on Facebook or on Instagram? You're going to have that. I have 10 million hits. And I have 5 million hits. But are they at any festivals? No. Because you know what? Most people don't want to leave from Foundation, and Foundation are the core people, Corked and Judith. The main pioneers of Central, those are the people that are still there, and nobody wants to move away. Because if you want to do Central, you still have the source. Why would you go outside of the source? Because you want to learn from the best, and now the best is still there. If they get out of the scene, then the doors will open. And I mean, I was really impressed with Camille. Camille was getting invited. She threw herself into this Central scene, and she was all by herself. And you were part of it. That was great, Camille, because they don't open the doors to new people. Yeah, it was the main people for years in Europe, and they got booked as soon as the festival was over. They had the next 3 years booked already. So how do you bring someone new when everyone's already pre-booked for 3 years or 2 years?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. We're gonna go to one more of Rodchata's polarizing Facebook posts. I mean, this is what we've been asking for the past 60 odd Sin Filtros. So I'm gonna read this out. He says, "Is modern bachata dying?" He says, "Nope, it's thriving. Sensual and fusion and Dominican bachata are in fact modern bachata." I repeat, he says sensual and fusion and Dominican bachata. This is where I think you got in trouble, is when you said Dominican bachata. That's where I know you were trolling people. You were just
I'm not. In my defense,
that's what I do. Bachata is playing with us now.
No, not.
Okay, I don't know whether you'd like to.
Let me ask you a question, Maury. Let me ask you guys a question. When you see Alex and Desiree when you see Fausto Felix and his partner, do you see traditional bachata or do you see Dominican bachata?
I see modern.
Do you see
Dominican.
a modern bachata or do you see traditional bachata? Answer that question.
I see modern Dominican.
I see modern Dominican.
Because look at Adam's video. None of us dance like the videos from the island. None of us do it. We all, Troy, Georgette, and Alex, they all came up with their version that was made in the U.S. That's American style. You know, it's a modern version of bachata because they don't do that.
And that's the category of modern. Come on, hello. Now, if you're gonna say traditional, you're talking about the island movements, basic stuff. You're talking side step. You're talking front step. You're talking box step. That's traditional. That's bolero-ish. That's traditional. Now, when we say Dominican bachata, because Dominican bachata pretty much was created, that term in United States by Troy and Georgette. Okay, that term was created. Now, you see Dominican bachata, Alex and Desiree, do you think they're doing old stuff? They're not. You cannot say that's traditional bachata. That's Dominican bachata, as it were, which is the modern category. You just had me read my voice.
Rodchata, Camille has to go, so she has to go, team. So thank you so much, Camille.
Hi,
big love to Camille. Let's just give
Camille, good to see you.
Always
thank
welcome.
You so much.
No,
and I hope to be on another time and speak over all these gentlemen here.
See you soon, honey.
Yeah. Very much, Camille. Big kiss, tango legs. Ciao. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Okay. Right. So
I just want to add that you just completed my bachata trinity right now, Rodney.
But Juan Ruiz,
you just completed the whole concept.
Well, it can't be trinity if there's another element to it. That's like a square.
The traditional is in the middle. That's the bachata basics. The squares, the side to side, the connected. Yeah. So that stays in the center, and then we have the three movements. Dominican,
but you cannot tell me. You cannot tell me that the Alex and Desiree, Fausto Felix, and others are dancing traditional. They are modern movements. Yes, there is a structure of that
cutting out
traditional bachata.
Okay.
So you can't tell me. That's why I put it in bachata, as it were, because it is part of the category of modern bachata.
Well, let's take a step back. I think our issue is we're doing a timeline of what happened in the world, but we also need to do a timeline of vocabulary. And the vocabulary was that there is a huge misunderstanding in everything we do in the bachata world, because we use terms that mean one thing but really reflect something else. And we use Dominican bachata. And I know I had this conversation with many teachers, and I think Carlos Cintas brought it to my attention, and he's like, why are you calling that Dominican bachata? And I go, well, this is what is being sold in the US in the ballroom. The people that pay to learn bachata in the salsa world, we call this Dominican bachata. And this is what we consider Dominican bachata. Is it what they dance in the Dominican Republic? No. But in vocabulary terms, that's what it is. And it's modern because it was developed, recently, in the last 15 years.
And to follow up Jorge's comments, that was then really promoted by the ambassadors like Edwin and Dakota and some other people with the name traditional, because they stick to basics. As you can see in their structure, in their dancing, they stick to traditional movements as opposed to much more evolved modern way, like Alex and Desiree, Fausto Felix. And mind you, those people that I'm talking about are Dominicans, So, but they approach bachata in a modern way that is came from traditional. If I were to say it, but I cannot call it traditional because that's the term. I never agreed to that anyway with that name traditional. But then, as Edwin explained it to me, it's like, well, we're sticking to the traditional movements, which I agree. It's a lot of bolero influence. It's a lot of basic. But when you look at quote unquote Dominican bachata now, that is not traditional by any means.
Well, even Edwin's been on here and said that when he goes to the Dominican Republic, sometimes when he's dancing with people, they say that what he's doing isn't even traditional.
Yeah, yeah.
So then, I mean, like,
so when you guys give me a hard time, it is modern bachata. Don't give me a hard time. I have a point, man.
Yeah, but then you see, here's the thing: is that I don't know. I don't.
I left Maury speechless.
No, because it doesn't come from the same. It doesn't come from the same thing. Because when I look at, say, Alex and Desiree, I don't see the connection to Alex and Desiree and, for example, Jorge Elizondo and Tony Lara. I don't see the connection.
Yes, you do. Do you see them doing traveling side to side steps? Yes, you do. They have videos of traveling side to side steps. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, but
I would like to add.
Well, hold on a minute. Did Jorge and Tony create dancing side to side?
No. Actually, they did. Actually, the Italians did. The Italians were the very first one. Yeah, the traveling side to side were created in Italy in the ballroom arena because they had a bachata category during that time.
Okay. So,
Biscuit. Yes. I just want to add that why can you don't put, and I wouldn't put Alex and Desiree in the same category of Jorge and Tony, to put it that way, in the Moderna one, because their movement focuses from the hip. Alex and Desiree movement focuses to the hip down. That's what they focus on. That's what the most of the movement happen. I believe Jorge and Tony will focus on the turn pattern, side to side, the movement. Yeah, and then you have the sensuals. The movement focuses from the hips and up. So I can look at sensual dancers, and the movement is hips and up, and everything that happens in the body movement. But so that's what the distinction it is now. Like there's bachateros who will focus on moving more on their feet, and there's gonna be bachateros that focus more on the chest, on the body rolls. And there's bachateros that focus more on the combination that they do on the dance floor. So I haven't seen the post that Rodney did. I don't see it. But yeah.
Jorge Elizondo, make some sense of all this, please.
No, I'm with Juan. Everyone dances what they want, and I'm a turn patterns. I love salsa. I just don't love 9-minute salsas. So I took my love of salsa and I put in bachata, which is romantic music, and I dance salsa bachata. That's what I do. That's why I called it fusion, because all I learned was left side to side and forward and back. Everything else I invented. So I created my own version of bachata, and that's what I taught people. Outside of the left and side to side and forward and back, I made up, and it came from my salsa training, and that's who I am. I'm more of a turn patterns. I love to incorporate double turns and all sorts of fun stuff. Rodney likes to do more of the footwork and hips. Juan likes to mix it up. We all have our style. But definitely, the funny thing about Europe, their version of traditional bachata is Alex and Desiree, because Pablo opened the doors and they were the only ones being booked all over Europe. And the only sense of what Dominican bachata was mainly them, because they're the only ones that got into the central circuit. They became part of the central. They were the only Dominican. I think they taught all the central teachers how to do Dominican. So if you look at all the central teachers, they're copycats of Alex and Desiree, because that's the central they learned.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, that's the Dominican they learned. Yeah, but I mean, we have people like Sueco y Joanna. We have Julia Carolina.
You might have people Carolina everywhere, but the ones that were invited to all the big festivals with the most influence at the very beginning was probably them, because I was all over Europe. I was Pablo's partner. I was helping him organize stuff. I was one of the first ones teaching Dominican in Spain and his festivals. But then you had someone like Alex and Desiree who could actually perform it. And that's what made people want to switch. They were seeing it on stage and they made it nice on stage. So they wanted to do that. And that, I mean, when you teach, you could only take people to a certain level. But if you can perform it and teach it, well, then you're inspiring even more. and that's what they did that I couldn't do. But I tried for since 2010 trying to bring Dominican style to which is what when I was saying Dominican style, all I was doing was trying to take what Georgette and Troy were teaching and trying to help more people understand it because they were seeing it more on YouTube. That wasn't my style. I was just taking what they were teaching and teaching what I could and teach it to people so they have a foundation. Wow. But yeah, I think it's all terminology.
I did not say the traditional part or the Dominican bachata as an insult. In fact, I love it. I love the evolution of Dominican bachata now because look at all of the videos. Even the Dominicans, Joanna Sueco, Anthony Carla, all of the bachata Dominicana people in Europe, they're innovating. That means you cannot call it traditional anymore because when you do traditional, you only do certain movements, okay? But when you innovate, then you get into that evolution term, and it becomes a modernization of the old dance. And this is why I think that Dominican bachata is probably more appropriate to it. Of course, Carlos will argue with me, it's bachata. It's just call it bachata. It's just going to call it bachata. But that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, so then why is it that we aren't calling it modern Dominican? Why are we not saying that? Why are we not saying to Sammy and Carolina, this isn't traditional, this is modern Dominican? Why aren't we saying to Alex and Desiree, this is modern Dominican, and saying it to, I mean, I would say Junior and Carolina are, that's Bonao style there. I mean, they pretty much, they are dancing Bonao style for me. I mean, so why are we not saying this?
Can I go back and bring out an issue that I think is important? So I don't know about the Europe. Europe was a different monster, but like in the US, what happened at Reno, the first Bachata festival was really important. Juan was there, and hopefully Juan will remember as well. The first day of workshops in bachata, I think this would made bachata what it is today. I think because we had a lot of teachers, and I'm talking U.S. and I think this is what happened around the world because we started spreading this idea. And the idea that I wanted to share was that the first workshops in the Reno Bachata Festival, the first couple of teachers, they were telling their students, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Like every teacher was kind of insulting every other teacher. It was a really ugly experience. And I told Ronnie, we need to have a conversation with all our teachers, and we need to tell our teachers, we're not salsa. Salsa, you cannot deviate. You cannot change the dance because no one will allow it. Everyone's so focused on the structure and what it is. You're forced to stay within that structure. But bachata was so new, and I'm going under the word fusion. Juan was going under the name Moderna. And I said, look, you can do whatever you want to do, and we're going to support you, but you cannot tell your students what someone else is doing is wrong. That's the one thing we need to fix. Teach what you're going to teach. If they like what you're doing, they're going to do it. If they don't like what you're doing, they're not going to do it. But don't be telling a student that the prior teacher, don't move your hip, don't do this, don't do that. I mean, it was really, really bad. And when we established that groundwork that you can do whatever you want, that's where I think bachata exploded because nobody was stopping anyone from innovating. And I innovated, Juan innovated, Ronnie was innovating. People were going from one style to another style. And right now, what you're talking about right now, traditional bachata, well, I think if we would have built something like salsa, everyone would try to stay to a certain frame and it wouldn't be where it is. Alex was around in the salsa scene. He was part of team.
He had a name in the salsa scene already. Yeah.
Yeah. And he just took his style of bachata, which at first he wasn't even a bachatero, but everyone flipped to bachata because that's where the money was. And he had something to offer, and people liked what he had to offer. And that's why he exploded, because his style was great, but I'm sure it was it's not what they do in the island. He started teaching his own flavor, which, man, he has his own flavor, and Desiree has his own flavor. But I think that's what makes bachata what it is today. That's why it keeps on exploding, and it'll continue growing. And you keep on asking who's going to be the next superstar. Who knows what they're going to blend into it, and whatever they might find something really special to throw into it, and it's going to be the next Daniel Desiree and elevate it even more.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's personalized. Like Juan has his own personal thing with bachata. I have my own personal thing. I know this because when I teach in Europe or Australia, I know who they learn from because they're doing freaking Juan's moves or Jorge's moves. Like, you got that? That's a popcorn move. You got that from Jorge, man. So it's a great thing. It's a personalized thing. If you go Frank Santos, he's got his own personalized thing in bachata. He goes back and forth with sensual and traditional sometimes, but he has his thing. Same thing with Alex and Desiree. Same thing with Fausto. What does he call his style now? NY style bachata. That's what Fausto Felix call it now. So again, it's a personalized thing,
which is great. It keeps on pushing the dance to another level.
He's not happy.
I don't know, man. I'm hearing
You're getting a lot of information here. We're really dry. We're really direct. We have really strong opinions.
I mean, if we just go back to this same, if we go back to this thing of what Rodchata was saying, he's saying that, so when you're saying that Dominican bachata is modern bachata, you're not saying that it comes from the roots of, say, of Jorge Elizondo, the Italians that created the side to side, and you're saying that it's just basically it's become modernized in its own kind of way.
Yeah, I'm talking about the term, right, brother. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
but Maury, the difference is
because that was not that was worded. No, because whenever I hear modern bachata or bachata moderna, I think of Jorge Elizondo, Juan Ruiz, Tony Lara, and that and Rodchata back in the day. That's
because you're looking at the structure. Don't look at the structure. Look at the term. You cannot call Dominican bachata traditional anymore because it's not. What do you call it?
Okay, well, I mean, this is what Frank Santos said when he came here. He said that all the footworky stuff and he said that when he goes back to the Dominican Republic, or when he speaks to his elders, they say, "Oh, what you guys do is moderna." Like he says, what his grandma does is just basic. This is pretty much what they do the whole 4 minutes or so.
Yeah, I mean, you want to go really traditional? There is no footwork in traditional bachata. Zero. Okay, zero. Pierre, do you hear that, Pierre? There is no footwork in the minute. Don't give me box step. It's a footwork, Pierre.
Wow, Carlos Rufino's in the building, by the way. That's Juan Ruiz used to get nightmares of Rufino.
he made me grow, so thanks to you, bro. I am here.
Actually, Rufino, we did speak about you in the last one. He said that you did actually help him grow.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh gosh, okay, they're all popping up.
Because, we got to go there. Juan was unlike me. Juan was putting out his videos. Juan was really out there showcasing his talent, his version of bachata. So he got a bulk of the trolling was to him because he was out there innovating and putting it out there. And kudos to you, Juan, man. You took it and you grew with it. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't doing that. My videos, I would put, I put a lot of buy my DVD videos because I wanted people to learn from my DVDs because I wasn't a performer. I've only done 2 live performances my whole career, actual shows. So that's it's just 2 different things going on there.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Maria Schulderman has said no footwork in traditional bachata, only sentimiento. Okay,
that's what I'm talking about, man.
But I tell you what, Rodchata, as much as you say that, that's what they sell when they have their big videos that have all these. That's what they're selling. They're selling footwork. They don't sell sentimiento.
Yeah, and what do they call it?
Dominican bachata.
Yeah, they call it Dominican. Yeah,
thank you.
They call it Dominican, but they're saying this is bachata. No, they say this is bachata. They don't say, oh, this is they don't. They haven't got into using the phrase Dominican bachata and all this kind of. They just say no, this is bachata.
Because there is that argument that you can't call it Dominican bachata, it's bachata Dominican. No, you can't do that anymore because bachata is all over the world now. You cannot stick to that argument anymore.
Okay. Pierre Henry says I would hazard a guess as to that even these three guys could not agree on a definition of what bachata is and what
No,
it
Pierre, we just cannot agree with you.
We will never. That will never. No one will ever agree on what that is. I think that we'll have to have a whole discussion on that one. But my last thing is basically in terms of Moderna, and Juan Ruiz gave us his bachata trinity, which kind of like threw us. It was a bit of a curveball for us, and we were like, we've never looked at it like this. But okay, but Juan,
yes,
honestly, in terms of like how you see people dancing, you used to go to festivals. I mean, like these guys were saying, I used to just be the cameraman at all the festivals around Europe, everywhere. I would just be filming everybody dancing. And the whole room was dancing bachata moderna. Okay. Now, yes, it is still part of when people dance sensual or part of when people dance fusion. But in terms of the actual moderna, the salsa element to it, the turn patterns, like you said, it's only Carlos Espinosa that you really see that has evolved that to now where he's doing like moderna, as it were.
Everything is modern.
He's the only person that you still see in line with moderna going from that. Do you see what I'm saying? So my question is that why has moderna not evolved? Because no, it hasn't, because sensual is it's taken the base of moderna and then gone and done other things with it.
Yes,
but I'm talking about moderna as a style on its own. Why is it not evolved? Why is it stayed static?
Because good question, and I've been thinking about it since you asked me the last time. Because it joins, it's the glue right now. It's the glue to the sensual world. And this guy, what they say, first is the glue to the sensual world, because sensual bachata, they need to move side to side as well. They otherwise just glue with your partner and doing waves. You cannot do that. It cannot.
That we understand.
Yeah.
But we're saying Carlos Espinosa.
Yeah.
His sensual's quite minimal. His moderna is like, I would say about maybe 70%.
Agreed.
Okay, but it's the thing is that Juan is the only one left that was part of, when we opened the doors, when Pablo opened up the doors for artists to expand, Carlos was in there. He got him in there, and he's the only one that was fusion. And because he did a great job and continue elevating, nobody, like we spoke this before, there's no door openings in Europe. And if you're not part of the original crew, you're not going into the scene. And since Carlos is already part of the scene, he's the only one that can continue pushing it. And if he stops, then nobody else is going to do it, because everyone else following the regular foot truck, which is sensual. Sensual sells. That's what people want. I'm going to do that because that's what everybody wants. Carlos was on his own track, and he became part of the group that gets hired all the time. And he continues to be hired because he continues doing what he's doing. But to get to the point of what Carlos is doing, you're going to have to work 100 times harder and really overprove yourself, because no one's opening doors. You're going to have to do it through Instagram, I think. And Instagram is not getting you the people in person. And you don't know what your real following is until you're there in person to see if you're actually changing, because the Instagram influence is personal at home. And
guys, I just want to add as well that the whole bachata community has gone through waves. When we started, let's go back to the booming time, 2008. Most of it was moderna.
Yes.
Yes.
We were doing side to side moderna. So that was the direction.
The golden era.
Then we have the Dominican era with Troy and Georgette. They started to push us. So we moved to that. Everybody was doing Dominican football. We have to dance like that. And then we started to look into the island dancing. How do they do it? Then time passed. Then we moved to the sensual. Now we're in the sensual way. But what I see a lot of comments now is that all sensual instructors are looking the same. There is not many more sensual moves. I'm not a sensual instructor myself, but that's what I'm reading, you know, because they have explored that so much that they're getting to a point now that, okay, we need to go now to the next way. What will be the next way?
Don't forget Bachatango.
Yes, yes, Bachatango. Yeah. But then,
why are we forgetting Attack and Alamana, the Island Touch stuff? I mean, wasn't that one of the biggest catalysts of bachata becoming global?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, they got people involved with bachata. They helped build the community. They spread the word. But unfortunately, what happened is that what looks best on video is sensual. So why did sensual elevate? Because that's what people want to have, this image of bachata in their mind, and sensual kind of met that need, and everyone's trying to get that vision to themselves and trying to portray what they're seeing on video. Modern bachata doesn't have the same look. I think it feels great dancing modern bachata. It feels different, but it doesn't look as same as sensual. You record a sensual couple and you record a modern couple, people more likely going to keep their eyes on the sensual couple because they're like, oh, what's going to happen next? How intimate is this going to get? Ours is more moving and interacting and playing with their partner.
Okay, let me interject there for 1 second, Jorge. Okay, but then that wouldn't explain why even Dominican bachata is now become even more.
Well, but Dominican is exploding because it's all about you. It's about your own personal movement, and some people don't want to do body rolls. The thing is, sensual bachata exploded traditional. The people who are doing sensual are getting hurt, and they're like, you know what? I don't want to get hurt anymore, and I still love this music. I can do this style, focus on myself, work on my footwork, dance without a partner, grow even during a pandemic. And I saw it during pandemic. The people doing traditional were popping up all over social media, and people were loving it because, you know what? I don't need a partner. And you know what? I don't have a partner. It's COVID. We're separated from each other. Sensual, really, really hard to get any good at sensual by yourself. But traditional was definitely the way to elevate yourself without having a partner. And that's why it's rising in popularity, I think.
Traditional or
sensual bachata exploded traditional.
For you, Maury, and everyone.
Wow.
We're talking when you see social dancing and when you see social dancing at clubs and social dancing at congresses, what movements do you see? Is it all sensual or moderna?
What when you see dancing in the
Well, the thing is, it's different in Europe. It's different in Europe than US. US is so behind on sensual. In Europe, it's all sensual. Majority of it, a lot of it is, depending on what area you're in. But in the US, we're still 50-50. You know, people trying to.
I know where Maury is coming from now because he's in Europe. All he sees is sensual, but the other parts of the world are really doing moderna, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we're looking at who are the people that are recognized globally, that are traveling globally, like you'll have more Europeans that are doing sensual that are going even out to the States than you'll have like the whole of the States going to Europe. You wouldn't. It's still to this day, it's still only Jorge Elizondo and Island Touch and Alex and Desiree. Those are the only three couples that I would see from the States regularly coming down to Europe. But, you know, in here, Europe, we've got like, you know, Luis y Andrea going out there, Jorge and Judith, Chavez y Sylvia.
They're just in the neighborhood. They're just in the neighborhood.
They're all going to the States. I mean, they're working out there. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm saying that it's, you know, and these guys have come out quite recently in comparison, but, you know, to this day now, Moderna, it's like the superstars that were around from the beginning are still the only ones that are still around in terms of Moderna. It's still Juan Ruiz, it's still Tony Lara, it's still Jorge Elizondo.
Because we know what it takes sometimes. Sometimes we have to go beyond, you know, like I mean, I'm not afraid to admit it. I still fund my tour. I still go around the world and I pay everything myself. Why? Because I still continue to believe in what I do, and I still know there's still areas out there that need help, like China. I exploded China. I brought Central to China. I brought Chavez and Sylvia, and I started inviting all the Central teachers. Now it exploded in China. You still need people to take the chance, and Rodney and Juan still, we're still doing what needs to take. Some artists, they want to try to think maybe they want the full package to go somewhere. Sometimes you just got to do that step yourself and put yourself out there. And that's what's lacking now. People want to be treated like the best of the best. And not everyone's going to get that treatment. Unfortunately, that's life, and life continues to be that story. And if they're willing to make a name, you might have to invest in yourself to maybe go out there and see what happens, you know? That's the truth.
All this time, it was Jorge Elizondo.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was the person behind bringing all those Central artists to China. Because I remember the times when they all went to China, and I was thinking, "Wow, this is incredible! This is blowing up now in even in China." And then it was all of this time, it was Jorge Elizondo that did. Respect to you, sir, for doing that.
I took Bachata to China in 2008, and it's exploded now. China's amazing Bachata scene.
The great thing about Jorge is when it comes to hiring artists, you would notice that he doesn't really hire the biggest stars out there, but he hires the best teachers. And those teachers gets popular, man. Why do they get popular? Not because of Instagram. That's because the people that they taught, it's a word of mouth thing, dude. That's how great teachers become popular, not because of the mini hits they do. Because I see the workshop, like the workshop of 3,000 people in one room. There is no way you're gonna learn those moves. There's just it's impossible to have a learning atmosphere at a 3,000 people in the room learning workshop.
Yeah. True. Okay, so my last question is going to be, how is moving forward post COVID? Like you got Dallas Bachata Fusion Festival. We have Juan Ruiz who's spoken about the Sydney Bachata Festival are going to go possibly going to be going hybrid moving forward. Rodchata, you've got so many festivals.
I got Hawaii, and then I got Las Vegas coming up.
You've got Rodchata's taking over, you know what I mean? So in terms of like moving forward for the learners experience, to enhance the learning experience, because you know just what you've said, like people are feeling now like, okay, I'll just get the party pass because I can't learn at this festival. What will you be doing moving forward for people to enhance their learning experience? I'm going to start with Juan Ruiz.
Yeah, like for us in the Bachata Festival that we just run here in Sydney, well, in Canberra, we had to move cities. We did this hybrid thing. When we invited Atacan Alemana and El Tigre to teach workshops in online, but to a full group of people. And it worked out fine. We had the technology to make it happen, and people really enjoyed it because it was a massive screen, and yeah, it was a really good interaction. So for us, for my business partner with Nestor and the other guys that are working with me, they're working with us, we're definitely going to be integrating now online learning, live stream learning as well. And that is, we're going to be organizing another festival in November, which is going to bring some big names to do the same thing that we did before with Atacan Alemana, which is have the big screen and have them to teach. Because if the borders are closed, if travel is restricted, we have to get creative. And for promoters right now, if people are getting used to learn online from a camera, that means that we just can bring so many artists that we couldn't bring before, you know, to a live platform. That kind of reminds me, you know what, like Jorge, you did it with your Dallas Bachata Festival online. You brought us together, and then you know, so we contributed to that. But right now, the change is we're going to bring people online together to a big platform, so they can reach 100 people at the same time, and interact with them, you know, together. So that's how I see the future of the festival.
I think it's great. I wish I have the bold step to do that this year, but I will definitely consider that for next year. Because do you have the possibilities to close the gap to the whole world now? Anyone is possible to be part of the event as long as you figure out the technology issues beforehand. But
hey, I have an IT guy who is amazing. He's the sound IT guy. Oh gosh, he managed to put everything together. So good.
Awesome. I mean, that's great. They did that in the U.S. with Daniel and Desiree, I believe, in Miami. They brought him in. They couldn't be here in person, so they had him do a live workshop. And I thought, that's great. People are used to being online, but now they're together, which is better, because now you're interacting with people, yet you're learning from the instructors you wish to see, and borders are no longer blocking us from learning from each other. And that's it, man. Cost of flights, everything's costing more. So this is a easier opportunity for us to connect. So it's good for you, man. I'm happy to hear that, and it should be documented so more organizers can start learning and start incorporating this as well.
Thanks, man.
Wow.
Like for me, for my festival, my festival is two things. It's dancing and learning. Other festivals are party and learning. So for me, it's learning and dancing. So I give the world to my people. I bring 50 artists. This year I have 104 hours of classes. Most of my passes were selling under $120, and it includes everything. And I focus on giving people all the classes because I think if I make it affordable enough, even the best dancers will take a class and get even better. And that's why I think Dallas community, we have a really strong community because even the best dancers, I see them taking classes. And why are they taking classes? Because I make it affordable because I choose to do that. That's my way of doing business. Everyone has their version of business. And luckily it's worked out for me. And I have artists that see my vision that I'm going to bring you all together. We're going to give back to the community and we want it to grow. And that's why I give classes for a lot of things, because the more they can learn, I'm giving samba. I think if they can learn some basic samba step, maybe that's going to help them with their Dominican. It's got to be light on your feet, right? And this year, I think we're focusing going back to basics. So I have a lot of beginner boot camps, 2 or 3 hour Kizomba boot camp from scratch, Zouk 3 hour from scratch. Let's get back into what we might have forgotten after a year and a half. So not about going hardcore again, because we're not there. People need to start getting back into the grooves of things.
Okay. Rodchata, how's the learning experience going to be enhanced so that people aren't feeling like they're just in a big room full of people and not actually learning anything?
Yeah. The thing is, moving forward, though, I agree with Jorge, learning and social dancing. With my festivals, when it comes to innovation, I'd like to innovate more on that, probably concentrating more on the social dancing part. Finally, Tony is executing my ideas, which is the social dance competition, which is the Jack and Jill, with some certain twist to it. Whether you're a beginner or you're advanced, where you could participate in certain things like that. So I think he's going to incorporate that all over the world. Of course, we're going to do it in Las Vegas. More conceptual workshops, more concepts instead of just a move. I like the idea of Magna Gopal doing a workshop for 2 hours about spinning, everything about spinning from A to Z. She will be offering that in Hawaii, Bachata Expo. So, this type of workshop, I know it's one thing, like I was talking to you about the 3,000 people attending a workshop and the teacher is, screaming his lungs out, trying to show a move and everything. It's just not possible. And if that ever happened to my festival, I'm going to divide that room. It's just not worth it. So it's about learning for me and then applying it at night for social dancing, because for me, festival is about the dance experience. And that includes meeting new people. That includes dancing with the teachers also. And that's one of the things that I'm not 200% about, the online thing. And I understand that it's a pandemic. I'm still not 100% because there's just no interaction there. I cannot touch or ask the artist to dance with me or interact for a moment and all of that stuff. But in USA, at least we're moving forward with a pandemic, and everyone is almost vaccinated now.
Okay. Well, all right, guys. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been an amazing for us. I mean, we've gone from we've meandered into so many different realms of bachata, and I like to kind of leave it open, as I know that that further down the line I would love to talk to you guys again, and we won't do it in these time zones because Juan's got his time zone he wants to work in, but it was just nice to have you just once together, and thank you for Jorge, thank you for suggesting this panel here, because you were the one that said, okay, Rodchata, Juan Ruiz, Camille. It was
thanks, Jorge.
Really nice. Thank you so much.
Good to be here.
Yeah,
you guys again.
And we'll be in touch. So, in terms of people getting in touch with you about your festival, people getting in touch with you about classes online, when you do restart live classes, what's the best way people can get in touch with you and contact you, Rodchata?
It's my name, Rodchata. You could search that all over social media, and you would always get an update of what festival I'm organizing. Like this year on October, it's the Hawaii Bachata Expo, which is bachataexpohawaii.com, I think, is the website. So that's pretty much it. You could find me anywhere. You could just search me in Google also. And last word, Pierre. It's not traditional.
Oh gosh, I don't know why everyone has this. I think we need to get you and Alex Rufino and Pierre Henry on here. That would be amazing. He actually thinks it was a great interview, and he's but obviously Rodchata. I don't know why everyone really wants to go at Pierre. I mean, when we had Alex here,
I love debating with him.
Okay, Juan Ruiz, how can people get in touch with you to find out about your live classes, your online classes, and the Sydney Bachata Festival, sir?
Well, we talk about the social media and Instagram, so follow me on Instagram. Find me there. Juan Ruiz Bachata. But if you are ever in Sydney, all of you guys come visit my school, Tropical Soul Dance Studio. We do put a lot of our videos online. We're teaching online at the moment because we are on a second lockdown here in Sydney. So you're welcome to join one of our online classes. And then I have alongside with Nestor, my other business partners, the Sydney International Bachata Festival, which has been running since 2008, the first one of the first. And we're going to start another festival in this year in November, which is going to be dedicated in salsa and bachata. But my market is mostly in Australia and the islands. Forgot that area. So, but you're in the area, everybody's welcome to come and join.
Okay, thank you very much, Juan Ruiz. And last but not least, Jorge Elizondo. How can people get in touch with you about your online classes, your live classes when they start? Well, they already started because you never stopped. And of course, Dallas Bachata Fusion Festival.
You can learn more about my festival at dallasbachatafestival.com. My contact information is there. On social media, I own Bachata Fusion. So Bachata in Instagram, Facebook, you name it, WeChat. So Bachata Fusion, the original right here since 2006.
What do you think of? Okay. Just before you go, what do you think of the new Bachata Fusion at the moment, where they now attach that title to Dario Isara, Carlos y Chloe, Abdul Ileti, that's now what is synonymous with the name Bachata Fusion.
Like I said, I'm not out there anymore. I'm not teaching, so I'm happy that people are still embracing it. I'm happy to see Carlos continue doing these innovative figures with salsa mixtures in there. So I'm embracing it. I'm really happy. I put a hashtag Bachata Fusion, so I get tagged every day on Instagram, and they don't know they're tagging me, but that's me. Bachata Fusion on Instagram.
That's your hashtag.
Yeah, I own Bachata Fusion and everything. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, WeChat, you name it. I snagged it because I know it's going to be an important name to have. The website Bachata Fusion is mine. The Italians been trying to get it because they have Bachata Fusion
yes, that's right.
And he's like, why do you have that? Well, I've had it since 2005. You know, when I first started.
Well done.
Entrepreneur right there.
Well played, sir. Well, listen, guys, thank you for coming on. Before we leave, Juan Ruiz,
I want to add something. I just saw Carlos Rufinho is back.
He's back. He's already been trolling you.
Trolling me already.
Mentioning, about a guy that you had to have surgically removed. So yeah, we're talking about that. So
yeah. So you want to know what's happening? Follow me on Instagram, okay?
Yes. Okay, Rufino. We are definitely gonna have to talk to Rufino about some things. But yeah, guys, you know what we do. I mean, Jorge, you're not aware about how we end the show, but what I do is I play the music. We all put our hand very slowly to the camera. We do our fusion bachata hand thing, and we just look at the camera, and that's it. We say goodbye. That's it. That's all we do. Okay. Rodchata, I know you're a traditional guy, but you still have Moderna in your soul. I know you do. So, You're an interesting guy. So, guys, thank you very much. This has been Sin Filtro with the pioneers, Jorge Elizondo, Juan Ruiz, and Rodchata. Let's go. Let's go.
I just cleaned my booger after that. It's
very nice, very nice. Rodchata, that was horrible, bro. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much.
Bye, Juan. Bye, Ronnie.